Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Surprise in Arizona. Hope you're having a super fantastic sparkling day. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1516. Yes, cross another one off. Knocked sideways. Yes, it's been one. It's been a tough day. I mean, I thought yesterday was tough. Well, yesterday was tough with the emotional roller coaster and everything else I was going through, being Brad's anniversary of his passing. And so because I was so tired, I decided to go to bed early. And so I was in bed by 9:30 and I was asleep before 10 o'clock. I'll put it this way. On my phone, I have a reminder that goes off at 21:50 every day, which is 9:50, to tell me that it's time to get ready for bed. And the idea is to be in bed by 10 o'clock. And I didn't even hear that reminder go off. That's how tired and exhausted I was. I didn't hear the reminder go off. And then at, what time was it? 12:30-ish, somewhere around there. I wake up and I come to and I'm hearing, and I'm like, what's up, Zephy? And so I turn the light on and she's sitting on the bed on her side, sitting there looking at me. And I was like, okay. I says, do you need something? You're going to show me? And as soon as I say show me, she usually does whatever she wants to do. And so she goes and jumps off the bed and starts heading down the hallway. And I'm like, okay, well, hang on, give me a second. So I got up, put my slippers on, grabbed my phone, because you never know what emergency is going to take place at 12:30 in the morning. And that's when I noticed what the time was. And we walked down the hallway and we came out and I said, do you need outside? And so we go towards the back and I open up the sliding door at the back to let her into the backyard, because occasionally there's been a couple of times that she's woken me up and she's needed to go out in the middle of the night. And she just stands there and looks at the door and I'm like, what the heck? And so I said, just okay, well, so you don't want out. It says, well, you got food and you've got water. Because when I feed her at night, I leave whatever food is. I am the terrible dog mother that I put food in her bowl in the morning and it stays there, and then I just top it up to equal the same amount at the evenings, and then it stays. And then she'll go and eat, and then she likes to have her midnight snacks at some time between when I go to sleep to when I wake up. She will come out, and there's been often times when I've woken up at 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and you can hear her munching. And so I looked over and I said, well, you got food and water. I said, what else do you need? And so she started walking towards the front door and I thought, well, maybe there's somebody out front. But we turned the light on out there and it's on the front porch so you could see, and there's nothing out there. I was like, And then she comes and she lays down on her mat that's down here behind me. And so I was like, okay. So I sit in the chair here, and usually when I sit in the chair, I get this glare of, you're in my chair. But nope, didn't do that. She just laid down. You sweetie girl. Yes, we're talking about you. She laid down on the floor there, and so I sat in the chair for a little bit, and after about 20 minutes, I says, well, obviously you don't want outside. I'm not sure what it is that you want, but I'm tired and I'm going back to bed, because I was starting to fall asleep in the chair. And so we got up, we went back to bed, and she jumps up on the bed and snuggles back down again, and so I turn the light out and start getting, rolling over, and just as I'm kind of like getting ready to doze off, and I was like, and so we get back up again, and she takes off down the hallway, and I'm like, what is it that she wants? Let her outside. And so this time she went outside, turned around, and walked straight back in again. And so I sat on the couch and went and laid on her mat in the bed in the family room there. And so I went and sat on the couch and thought, let's see what happens here. And she just curled up and went to sleep. And I'm like, okay, we're going back to bed. This went on for 3 hours. 3 hours. And there was times in there where I would just start, and I would kind of like snooze for a little bit, and then she'd start whining again. And finally on the third time, by the stage, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, she would come out here. I open up the back door. She flies out the door, off the patio, completely out of my sight. I've got the flashlight in hand. I go out. I cannot see her, which means she's down the side of the house. Nowhere in the backyard. She took off to the right, which takes her down the side of the house. And I couldn't be bothered walking out on the stones at that hour of the morning to see what she was doing or anything like that. And then she comes trotting back in with head held high, and I'm like, okay, she's feeling better. That's good. And so we went back to bed. By this stage, it was 3:30. My alarm goes off at 5:07 if I'm not awake before 5 o'clock. And that alarm went off at 5:07 this morning. I felt like I had just gotten to sleep. I'm like, great, I've got like an hour and a half to get some sleep. I tell you, that knocked the stuffing out of me for today. And so we got up at 5, and at the moment that alarm went off, she's off the bed and down the hallway again. I'm like, what the heck is with this dog? And so I go out, they'll go out there, we let her out, and she takes off outside again. I'm like, what the heck's going on? And so I thought, well, grab the poop bags just in case, because I don't like leaving the poop sitting in the backyard or anything. Go out there. Yep, sure enough. So I had to clean that up this morning. Like, great. And so we come back inside and decided, okay, well, I'm going to have breakfast and then we'll go get showered and dressed and we'll go for our walk. So we did all of that. We came back. I was knackered. By the time we got home, because I'd hardly had any sleep last night, I'd had the like almost 3 hours before she woke me up with this episode for 3 hours. And I felt like I just dozed off and the alarm clock went off again. And so hardly any sleep. And I was just like, I am so tired. But I still had to go. We had to go get the mail today because there's some stuff in the mail that I needed. And so I went and did that and came home with that. We basically went for a walk. And as soon as I got home, I gave her daily Claritin with her treats and then hopped in the car and went and got the mail. Came home from that and sat down on the couch with her. And I left, what movie had I left? I always leave a movie playing for her when I have to leave the house. And I told her I'd only be gone 30 minutes. I was home in less than 30 minutes. So I had Round the World in 80 Days, the original one from what year was that? 1930 something or 1940 something. It was an old version of it. Had David Niven in it. He played, the guy that went around the world in 80 Days was with Passepartout. Can't even think of the character's name right now. So she'd been watching that. So I left it playing. I'm sitting there on the couch with her, and I had done what I needed to do with the mail, with the pieces of mail that I was waiting for. And I sat there and I kept dozing off, and I was like, oh, jeepers. And then finally, I looked at the clock and I went, oh my gosh, it's time. It was now 10 o'clock, and I had to be online with a client at 10:30. And so I got up, had a huge drink of water, and I'm like, what else can I have? I'd had breakfast, so I would have done with that. And I've got my protein shake I can make up because I had my mushroom coffee I'd made yesterday and put in the fridge so that it would be cold for today, because I hadn't done any cold brewing because I didn't know how to cold brew. Now I do know how to cold brew because I looked up the instructions to see, how do I cold brew? It's actually pretty easy. So we might be doing some more of that if I can get the coarse ground mushroom coffee. I can do that. But I actually didn't make up my mushroom shake into smoothie until this afternoon when I had my shake break. And so I did what I needed to do with the client. And then I felt like I've been sleeping all day. It's terrible. And I was like, okay, we've got to get back into this. I need lots of protein for lunch today. So we had a protein-filled lunch. I had a protein shake without my coffee. Had my protein shake, had some bacon and egg pie. Those 2 bacon and egg pies lasted 6 meals. They were really good. The only thing is that I was lacking tomato sauce. Now, people go, well, we've got ketchup. No. Tomato sauce and ketchup, very different. And so I like my tomato sauce when it comes to bacon and egg pie. Ketchup just doesn't taste right. And I know people have their preferences. My preference is tomato sauce over ketchup. And so I didn't have any tomato sauce. I was like, okay, we'll make sure we have some tomato sauce for next time. And you can get the little cans, like you get the 2 little cans of tomato paste. You can get the same size cans of tomato sauce. And I thought that would work over the 2 pies next time I make the pies, which will probably be like in about a year's time. To be honest, I don't bake pies very often. But then I had to get onto the chat all day, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, and I'm doing like breathing exercises and stretches and all sorts of things just to try and stay awake. And then it was and thankfully the chats weren't that busy today. But when they came in, it was like, oh, now I've got something I can occupy my time with. But then at 2 o'clock it came time, and it was time for my shake break. And boy, did that that coffee, mushroom coffee with the protein in there and the super green. It's had protein, super greens, and then I have my frozen mixture of, let's see, they have bananas, mango. What was in that mix? Bananas, mango, strawberries, blackberries. I don't remember. There was this frozen fruit in there, and it also had kale and spinach in there as well. So I had that, and I was sitting here for I made it last like an hour because I had I make a big container of it, and I've actually got a insulated coffee mug thing that has a straw that comes with it that I can use for the bigger shakes when I make the big shakes, and just filled it just nicely. It made it perfect. And so I sat here for like an hour just sipping on that while I was working. And then 4 o'clock came and it was time for me to get off, and I said, and I'm working, and so I thought, okay, well, I've got this other work I have to do, got to get this set up, got to get that set up. So I start working on that, and my eyelids just start getting heavy, and I'm like, screw this, I need to go take a nap. So we went and had a schnoozle, and the schnoozle is what we call our afternoon naps. and we woke up from this like about, let's see, we're at 6:11, about 10 minutes before that. So about 20 minutes ago, we woke up, and it's like, okay, I got to go get on air. So this is why I look so blotchy and pale today, because I've had literally no sleep. I had 3 hours of solid sleep before Zephy woke me up, and then since then it's just been snoozes and not really any deep restorative sleep. So we are hopefully working on doing some good restorative sleep tonight, providing we have no issues. But yeah, it was, and so my thought was like, okay, so there are days that knock us sideways. So that was my not getting knocked sideways, was getting knocked off track. I wasn't thinking clearly. There was a chat that came in. Thankfully, that one I figured out how to fix. I figured out what the problem was on that one. But then there was another one that came in, and I was overthinking it. And so on top of having the emotional day yesterday, having very little sleep last night, I was knocked sideways for it. And I suddenly thought, there are times in our lives when, we wake up, we feel great or we don't feel so great, but something happens that knocks us off track. It either knocks us off track or it knocks us sideways a little bit. We've got to get back on track again with everything. And I thought, what are some of the ways that we can overcome that? So I've got a list here of 10 different ways that different things that you can use to help you get back on track if you get knocked sideways. And first thing is, take a breather. Because when you're knocked off track, you get overwhelmed, your thoughts can become scattered. I was totally feeling that today. And then it's just a matter of taking a few deep breaths, just to help calm your mind and help you focus and get back on track again. And if you remember, was it this month? It was either September or August when Nicole was on. She taught us that breathing thing where you breathe in, you take deep breaths for the count of 7, and then for 8, 9, 10, 11 for the count of 4 after that, you blow it out. So you do the one, inhale for 7, and then you for 4 for the count of 4. And so I've been working on those. So I thought, okay, take deep breaths, been working on those. If you're feeling out of whack, prioritize, make a list of what's really important and what can wait. What do you have to get done today? What priorities do you have to do today from your list? And what ones can you put off till tomorrow? So we're trying to not use it. You probably got a little amount of energy. You can tell my brain is scattered right now, right? So you have this little amount of energy, and you want to make sure that you get some stuff off your list. So what are the top priorities to get off your list that you can get done quickly and efficiently with the little bit of brain power that you've got left? And then what ones can you put off till tomorrow when you're going to be a bit more refreshed? And so there's that way. So it's making a list of what's really important. What do I have to get done today? Because it could be because there's a time crunch that you're on or something like that. And so that can help too. It's so that's number 2. Number 3, take one step at a time. Trying to tackle everything can be exhausting. I know this because I try to do it. So okay, I got to get this stuff done. And that's when you can break the larger tasks into smaller, manageable chunks. And that's when my thingy with the Oh, hang on, take that leaf off. With the post-its come in handy of when you write on here at the beginning of the week, you write out, on the, where did my big pad of post-its go? Hang on. Up there they are. So you take a post-it like this, you write out what the whole project is going to be, and then you have the smaller steps underneath it, and on each one of the square ones, you write on there a task, and then down in the bottom corner here, down in this bottom corner, you will write how many minutes that task is going to take. It can't take any more than 50 minutes, 50. So anywhere from 1 minute to 50 minutes, and you put that there. Then you have them up on your wall, your board, whatever it is. And so when you get that extra 5 minutes or 10 minutes, you go over there and say, okay, I've got 5 minutes. What can I get done? Oh, I can do that one, or I can do this one. Or I've got 10 minutes. I can do 2 5s, or I can do a 10. And that will help break them. That helps to take the bigger task and break it down into smaller, manageable pieces. And then you just start with one, and you just, oh, we've got 5 minutes here. Let's do this one. I've got 15 minutes. Oh, I could do a 10 and a 5, or I could do a 15, or I could do 3 5s. Which ones am I going to do? So that's number 3. Number 4 is talk it out. Sometimes verbalizing your challenges can help you see them from a new angle, whether it's with a friend, a family member, Zeffy, the furry friend. At least they don't talk back. Talking can provide that emotional relief, and sometimes even the solutions you hadn't thought of. So that was one thing that came up yesterday during the day, was that, I no longer have Brad to talk things out with. What do I do in the meantime? Well, I talk to Zeffy all the time. But Zeffy doesn't answer back. And there's times when I want to go and pick up the phone and call Brad and say, hey, if I'm out and about and I suddenly have an idea, 6 years later, I'm still wanting to pick up the phone and call Brad and say, hey, I just had this really cool idea. I'm on my way home, and have it on the hands-free, and you just talk it out. And then some ideas were so far. He just had, his response to a lot of them was, aha. But the aha took on different tones, and the different tones meant different things. There was the aha, like, that's a really great idea. Or there was the aha, it's sort of like, yeah, not so sure about that one. It may work. Then there was the aha that was sort of like, absolutely not. You are crazy. What the hell were you thinking? So he had his different ranges of ahas for when I came. And there's times I used to go running into the living room from the office, and I'll slam myself down on a couch and go, I've had an idea. And he would go, aha. Like, oh crap, here we go again. And then I would talk it out. And so, but he got smart. He said, and before I started talking, as soon as he said aha, he says, now, do you want me to listen and give you feedback, or do you just want to talk it out? And it make me pause. It's like, do I need him to give me feedback on this, or is it an idea I just need to talk out? And sometimes I go, I'm not really sure. I'm not sure if I want feedback on this or not, but this is the idea that I've had. So he knew what way he had to listen. He had to listen to fix a problem, or he just had to listen. And maybe I would ask feedback after I'd finished. So he got smart about asking that. Zeffy, if she will sit there and listen to me, and if she curls up and goes to sleep, it's kind of like, yeah, that's an okay idea. I can stay here. And sometimes when I give her an idea that's like so far out there, she will actually get up and walk out of the room. And I'm sort of like, okay, that's the sign that we're not doing that idea. She thinks it's stupid and we're not doing it. Yeah, trust me, dogs are great for that, because they don't answer you back. There's just ways that they can get you to understand what they think of your idea. Number 5 is move. It's movement, physical exercise. It releases endorphins, which can boost your mood, clear the mind. Even just taking a brief walk around the block can help. I would go and stand out, depending on the day and how hot it is outside. We're in the 90s this week, which is nice. I can bear that. Although times when it was 114, 115, I'd go stand outside, take a few deep breaths, and then I'd come back into the cold and take a few deep breaths. So you had that big hot air outside, then you come back in and you take deep breaths in the cold air inside, and that just kind of like help reset. So there's times I would go out into the backyard and either sit out there, or I'll just walk around the backyard, and Zeffy would like either stand on the patio there and just watch me, or she'd follow me around. And even just doing that, walking around the house would help. What else would I do? Some music on and dance. Anything just to get me moving. Sometimes help, just getting up and walking away from whatever the issue is, going and getting a drink of water, going and getting a snack, going outside for some movement, coming inside and dancing or something like that. Just anything that would break, have a physical break from sitting here trying to figure things out. Number 6, seek advice. Sometimes you get those problems. It's just sort of like, I have absolutely no idea what to do with this, but you have that trusted circle that you know that you can call them up and say, hey, I've got this idea, and I don't know what to do with it. It's just, or I've got this problem, and it's just, and sometimes talking it out with somebody who can give you their feedback or their insight can help. And it could be trusted friends, it could be mentors, it could be professionals. So it could be a peer in your business. So like sometimes when I've had issues with travel or something like that, I've got people who are in the travel industry that I can call up and go, hey, I got this problem. What do you think about this? Da, 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 da. And, or I don't just call them out of the blue. I do text them first to say, hey, I've got a problem. I need to talk out with somebody. Are you available? And most of the time they come back and say yes, or they say like, give me 15 minutes and then call. So that's another way that you can do that, is seek advice. If you've got a problem with something, seek advice from somebody who knows that area, that field. If you've got an issue with your accounts or something like that, or you can't just get something to balance. Do you have a bookkeeper or a friend who's a bookkeeper or a financial person that's in that finance industry that you can call and go, hey, I just can't get this to balance? Or it could be, there's been times when I have had clients call me and go, I want to do a trip to Ireland. Well, I have a person who specializes in Ireland. And so I'm just sort of like, it is seeking advice, but I'm just sort of like, can I just hand this over to you? And, do you have availability in your schedule to work with these people on this? Or can I ask you questions that will help me get them to have the right thing based on what our schedules are? Speaking of schedules, number 7 is schedule. Create a daily plan or routine to follow. It can give structure to your day and it helps regain your sense of control. But remember to be flexible. Schedules need to be flexible. They will change as time goes by. Different things will happen. Things will crop up and you need to move things around. And but you will have some things in your schedule that are sort of like, okay, this is not flexible. I have committed to this. I have to be there for this. Number 8, set boundaries. When you're struggling to manage what it is that you're doing, taking on more stuff can actually be more harm than good. So you have to learn to politely say no, or find somebody who can do the task for you. And there's been times when I've had people who want to do certain trips, and I'm just sort of like, right now, I don't have the brain width to take that on. It's an area of a destination I don't know very well. I only know it from books and seminars I've been to. But I have a friend who has traveled to that area, a number of times, who's also in the travel industry. And so I will call them up and say, hey, can you take on this client for me for this thing here? And this way you're just taking the overwhelm off you. But you're also making sure at the same time that your client is taken care of. Journaling. I'm going to put here journaling / mind mapping. Writing down your thoughts can serve. I found that hugely helpful with helping get that mental release. Also, mind mapping. Mind mapping, you just start off with, here is my problem. How can I, what solutions can I come up with? You ask the question, what solutions can I find for this problem? You're not saying, I have this problem, help. It's what solutions can I find for this problem? It's all in how you word it. And you're asking your subconscious, hey, I have a problem. How do I fix it? And you basically put it then, how do I find, what solutions can I find for this? It's not, I need to, here's my problem. The bed broke. I don't know why that came in. It's like, how can I find this? How can I find solutions to fix the bed? And then the brain starts going into solving mode, and then you can start mind mapping from there. And with the mind mapping, it's like I always use the example, if you ever read the Harry Potter series, Dumbledore would take his wand and he would put it to his temple, and he would pull out the silver stream, which was a memory, and he would put it into this bowl called the Pensieve. And that Pensieve was a bowl that held his memories in it. And he would take them out because his head would get so full that he needed to make space. Mind mapping is the same thing. It helps declutter the brain a little bit. And it can help you organize your thoughts and ideas. And there's times that I have done mind maps, and then it's been very clear what steps I need to take. Even though it looks like a mess on the piece of paper where you've got the circle here, and then you've got all these tentacles coming off with circles and squares, and they're all in different colors. Like I'll start off one strain. I'll pick up one color pen and start with one train of thought and go off on that one. When I finish that one, I pick up another color and I start off with the next train of thought, and that sort of thing. And it helps me organize my brain and helps declutter my brain, which now allows me to help me get back on track. And number 10 is one of my favorite ones at all. It is laugh. Laughter is your natural stress reliever and mood lifter. Watch a comedy. Listen to a funny podcast. Watch some of the stupid things that happen on TikTok. Today, and one of my favorite ones to watch is because it's part of my heritage. I'm very strong on the Scottish heritage, and I'm like an eighth Scottish. I have very strong Scottish roots in my ancestry, and I thought it was just one side of the family, which is very close because my great grandfather. Actually, my second great grandfather was born in Scotland, and his parents were Scots. And there's this guy on there who has this very strong, beautiful Scottish accent, and I just get mesmerized every time I start listening to him. Well, I found when I was on TikTok today, trying to do that mood booster of just scrolling through some TikToks and stuff, and I came across the Scottish guy that I watch. And he was talking about words that Scots struggle with. And then all of a sudden, this other guy appears behind him. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's two of them. So I had these two Scots, these two men from Scotland who, with their Scottish accents, were trying to pronounce these different words. I tell you, I was almost on the floor rolling around laughing. But I'm always looking for funny videos to watch. I have a friend, we send them backwards and forwards to each other. We find things and send them to each other. It's just, and like sometimes I'll send her and my comment, and when I sent her this one today with the two Scotsmen, I said to her, "Oh my God, there's two of them." That was all I sent her. And so she actually watched that. But just something to brighten the day. And yes, TikTok is something that you can get. TikTok and Reels is something you can totally get lost in. And so I do set timers. When I'm on those, I do set a timer for how, you got 5 minutes. And I go in there and watch some of the antics that people do, some of the stuff that animals do that is just natural for them, where people just get, just crack up laughing and that sort of thing. So always take time to laugh. Find a time during the day to laugh. And that's always a huge mood booster for me. Yeah. And if I don't have time for TikTok or watching a reel or anything, I will walk into the kitchen and hanging on, and they're keychains, and hanging on two of the door handles, because I have these little round knobs on the door handles, and hanging off two of the door knobs on the upper cabinets is a dog and a cat, and you press them. And listening to those, you'll crack up laughing. I crack up laughing every time. And it's, do I want the dog one or do I want the cat one? And I've bought them on here a couple of times. So, but yeah, and I can't find them anywhere. I cannot find them. So I've got to get batteries for that thing. I just don't remember. I've got the monkey up there that literally rolls around on the floor laughing. I just need to find batteries for it. So anyway, but those are some ways that you can get back on track if you get knocked sideways. And how do you get back on track? Let me run through the 10. You've got take a breather, prioritize. What has to be done today at this point in time, one step at a time, taking the big tasks and breaking them down into smaller manageable things, talking it out with someone, movement, physical movement, getting up, walking around, dancing, going outside, taking some deep breaths, seek advice. Number 6 is seek advice. Number 7 is schedule. Create a daily plan or routine that gives you a little structure in your day to help you regain a sense of control. Set boundaries, know when to say no, or maybe you have to say no, but can you forward that to somebody else for them to be able to help you? Can you refer them to somebody else? Journal or mind. Number 9 is journal or mind mapping, and number 10 is laugh. So I hope those give you some ideas on how to get back on track when you get knocked sideways. I have been practicing some of those today, but I really have just been exhausted. And now I've got to take Zephy for a walk, and I have to find the energy to do that. So I'm probably going to go and make myself just a small protein shake, and then go take her for a walk. Just anything right now. The coffee stuff is already worn off. The coffee protein I had at 2 o'clock is already gone. It's worn off. So I need to go find something else that's going to boost, give me a little energy to go outside and take her for a walk, because it's getting pretty dark out there right now. I can see there's some red clouds out there. The sun's setting. I'm looking south right now when I look out that window. But anyway, go out, have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we will catch you guys back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific. Hey, konara.